Hello, everyone, and welcome to Doc and Queenie Facebook Live. Hello, Queenie.
Hello, Doc. How's your Monday going so far?
Going good. You caught me putting my background up and I couldn't see. And I'm like, oh, we're
Wow.
live.
And tell what is that background?
That is amaranth. I processed a whole bunch of that, picked it and processed it to a point yesterday. So, yes,
What
that is
does amaranth do, Doc?
amaranth looks pretty.
Okay. Oh, that's important. Yes.
And you can cook it like a quinoa is a seed, amaranth is a seed. So you can cook them like the same. You cook it like rice. You
Okay.
boil it until it softens.
Now you're talking a little more my language.
Yeah. And then also amaranth, you can grind it up into a flour. I'm not sure if we have enough, but each one of those plumes has thousands of seeds. So I cut them yesterday. This is the basically what's left from the acre garden that we had. And I was trying to catch them before they would open up too much and I would lose all of the seed. So they were just starting to open. So
Wow.
now they are hanging.
It's a very dramatic picture.
It's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah. It's very, very dramatic and perfect seasonal color, that whole thing. So you captured it at the perfect time.
Yes, this variety is called autumn. Now I'm trying to remember. I think autumn tune.
Wow.
It has all different shades. It kind of looks orange on here. It's almost like a peach color, and they grow about
Wow.
between 3 and 5 feet tall. Mine got about 3.5 feet tall.
And I assume that you already did this on your Instagram reel.
There is an Instagram reel to see it. Yes, there will be more probably tomorrow because after I cleaned them all up, then I hung them upside down in my garage to dry. So last time I did that, the mice got into the garage and ate them all. So I hung them higher and covered them up with plastic bags.
I'm telling you, yeah. When other things get to see your harvest, that's not cool.
Yeah, when other things get to eat my harvest, that's definitely not cool.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What is happening in the life of Doc today? I cannot wait to hear. I mean, honestly, I cannot wait to hear because your weekends, I have been stalking you, just I have. And so I get to see you when you're doing your thing with your greenhouse. OMG, sister, that is quite an undertaking.
It is. I actually didn't do much work this weekend on it. I wanted to take a rest because it is very hard work on the back.
Oh, I bet. Wow.
27, I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true. I'll let you know when I get
You're yeah. I'm not even trying here. Yeah, no, we actually went out for more supplies because it's a never ending, we've got our wood,
yeah.
we've got our cement, we've got the tools that we need. Actually, this year we've already had a brand new nail gun, a brand new, what did I get? Jigsaw, a reciprocal saw. What else did we get? I'm trying to think of what we picked up the other day. Yeah, we picked up 2 tools. But yeah, went shopping. Tomorrow I'm going to be picking up a door. Found a door. And all of this is, with the exception of the tools, we've been trying to do as much as we can from the Restore, the Habitat for Humanity. Because
that's super nice. That really is nice. Okay.
That, and then I found a resource, a lady whose husband is in the window business. So I bought 16 windows for $5 a piece. You can't beat that. I've been looking on the marketplace at windows, and there's some people, a 30-year-old window, and they want $100, and you're not. No. So, but yeah, that's took a break. I'm finishing, hopefully, up all of the digging. I just put out a Instagram reel. I'm still digging is the title. Still digging.
Oh, that is so fabulous.
But I'm very particular, Queenie, in my piles of dirt. You'll laugh. I'm very particular because there is one pile that is actually the really good, healthy soil. And then there is the kind of the in-between, which has a little bit of clay with a little bit of topsoil. And then there's the really bad stuff, the that is all clay. And so I've separated them all. So when we're going to build berms and landscape around the greenhouse, I can do the bad stuff, medium, and then the good stuff on top. So, or fill some more garden boxes with the good stuff. So, but that takes time.
Oh, I would imagine time and labor intensive, and oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yes. So it's too deep, but I'm digging it.
That's cute.
Okay, Facebook user, you are either
cute. We're gonna
Debbie
find out
Miller.
Debbie actually shows up, so I bet it's Karen, Grace, or Michelle.
Or Karen. I was going to say, I was going to go down our
Oh
list.
my gosh. Guess who it is?
Jody.
Lisa.
Lisa.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, I think you had her at Amaranth, because I think on a call that we have done before, you and Lisa, Amaranth, Delinda, and
we
me.
kind of go off.
Yeah.
And everybody is like.
And Delinda and I are sitting here going, okay, well, I can't wait to find out what Amaranth is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That is the funniest thing. Lisa, welcome. We're super glad that you could be with us today. And the good news is, when Doc talks about all the cool things that she's planting and this incredible greenhouse she's building, following you, Doc, kitchen garden expert, on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere is so cool.
Yes, Heritage Plant Geek Out. Yes.
Oh my God. And what is that called? Heirloom seeds that you guys talk about. And I'm sitting here thinking heirloom means that your grandma passed it down to you. Oh my gosh.
Well, so, she could have passed down the seeds, but maybe not to you. But
yeah. Wow, that was hurtful, but okay. That was good. Oh my gosh. But honestly, now that I know what an heirloom seed is, I actually understand why nutrition value is specific. It's not just like you go buy seeds and grow something and it's healthy for you. Not necessarily. And I did not know that before. I figured if you grew it and you kept it as purified as possible, that it was a healthy thing. Not necessarily if the seed's not good.
Well, and there are heirloom seeds that are not organic, or, but who knows? Who knows, those that are not. And there is some chit chat out there about organic not being totally, but in faith, you hope that it's a little bit healthier.
And my gosh, you'd have to. And at some point, the in faith piece has to work. So, yeah, I get that for sure.
So, Queenie, what did you do this weekend? Anything exciting and fun? Did you cut your grass?
No, actually, I did that on Thursday. I had a very small window, and I had to do it before the storms came, and the timing was perfect. Thank you, Lord. And that worked out great. And the grass is green again instead of crunchy, so that is always fun. And so I appreciate that. The fall is not my favorite season. I think we've talked about that before here. And one of the big trees on the property, the green space property that's near my home, is already changing a little bit of color and dropping a few of those little buggers. So it's not a good fit for me. First of all, it's messy. And I think that is one of the reasons that fall is not my favorite, because leaves fall all over the place. And then you hear crunch, crunch, crunch all the time. And then it rains and it gets sloppy. I think it's because it's not neat. And I really think that might be one of the deals. Seeing the trees with no leaves, you kind of get over that because, Christmas is coming kind of thing. But I think it's the mess. You always have to go out and either mulch the leaves, bag the leaves, trim the trees, whatever you need to do. And I think it's the mess that bugs me. It's because and with all those big trees on your property, holy moly, you must have enough leaves to mulch every garden that you have.
I actually do. And if I don't this year it's going to be different because 6 gardens are gone. So
that's right.
There will be a greenhouse. But what I have my children, we call them monkey slaves. What I have my monkey slaves do is we have them rake the leaves to the edge of the property, and then I use them either in my compost pile or I just let them break down. So, but yes, we have a lot of leaves because we've got trees all over the place. Messy trees.
And I've seen massive trees out actually in your property, and that's why I thought, wow. But I see why you have such beautiful gardens because of all the mulching. So I totally get that.
So, hey, Queenie, before we move on to whatever we are going to talk about today, we need to talk about and not get it over with, but, get it out there as quickly as possible.
Okay.
We have some national, and we also have some national days, and we also have a world day. Which one would you like
Ooh.
me to start with?
I like global. Start with world.
Okay, let's start with the world. Any idea?
National Day, Worldwide Day of Hot Air Balloons.
You're close, but not really. But I'll
Okay.
give you a star.
Almonds.
It's National Nut Milk Day, or I'm sorry, International or World Nut Milk Day.
Well, now I was close with the hot air balloons, so that's pretty good.
Do you drink nut milks?
I don't drink anything actually but water and coffee, to be honest. But if I was going to go with milk, didn't you tell us one time that cashew milk was less bad?
I don't
No, no,
remember.
no, 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 no. Oat milk. Didn't you
Oat,
say oat milk was less bad?
oat milk, yeah, oat milk. I haven't really. We kind of switched from almond to oat lately, because of course with the almond, anything you get in the store, unless you make it
Oh,
yourself, you're not getting.
absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I don't drink milk and I don't really use it unless I'm cooking something. And usually at that point, I need half a cup of something. So it's
Yeah.
not my thing. I've not ever been a milk person. Now, in the olden days, when the kids were home and we did cereal and things like that, I let them put milk on their cereal, but I've never let them drink milk after the age of 2. Quote, you don't need it. And so I've just never been a milk person.
Yeah, we usually just keep. Well, and actually, if I could keep it longer, I've been making oat milk, and it only lasts a week, week and a half.
Oh my
But
gosh, to go to all that work and have it not last long would kind of kill me.
it's not too bad. I mean, it's really not too late. I don't think it's labor intensive. Then again,
Well,
it's not.
you're building a greenhouse, so let's not even discuss labor intensity.
But it doesn't sit for long. But we usually just like I'll have a bowl of cereal maybe once a month, if that, and that's what we'll use it for. Or like you're saying, baking or cooking.
Yeah.
So um,
So is almond milk okay? Worldwide Nut Milk Day, like almond milk is okay, cashew milk is okay, those kind of things. If you're just doing it lightly,
I guess it can be lightly. I haven't done much of a deep dive into it, and it's funny probably because we had almond milk for a while. I kind of switch it around, everything in moderation.
yes.
And like Lisa said, it is easy. The oat milk is very easy to make. So yeah. So I just do steel cut oats, organic, and you soak them in water. And I soak them in, yes, everything in moderation. I soak them in, what did I soak them in? I think I did them in the clean water. I think that's what I did. So, yeah. So, happy World Nut Milk Day.
Thank you so much. I hope that you sent me a card.
I did. Yes. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Oh my
All right.
gosh.
So, it's all about food. We'll keep it all about food for a moment.
Okay.
This actually makes my stomach hurt, but hey.
Okay, well now hang on a second. Isn't this like a toffee something?
This actually, it's National Pecan Tort Day. And so I did a search on pecan torts, and they did come up with pecan pie, or if you say pecan pie, I'm from the north, so I say pecan.
I didn't know that was a north-south thing. But I've heard people say pecan pie, and I'm always
Pecan
like,
pie.
I don't know if I could talk like that for very long. But yes, I say pecan also too.
Well, there's certain words. There's certain words like cement or cement. Or
I heard someone say Italian the other day, and I thought of you because I thought, oh my gosh, if my Italian friend heard Italian, I don't know what that would do to you. So yeah,
they were talking about Pizza Hut, weren't they?
Oh my, yeah, seriously. And I just thought, oh my goodness.
So happy National Pecan
Tort
Tort
Day.
Day.
Okay.
So,
and same to you, Doug.
yeah. And lastly, we have
Happy Dentist Day, Happy Molar Day,
Happy National Tooth Fairy Day.
Tooth Fairy. Oh, okay. Happy Tooth Fairy Day.
Did you do the Tooth Fairy with your kids?
If the Tooth Fairy remembered then things worked out super well. Sometimes the tooth fairy was preoccupied and had a lapse. And so the tooth fairy had to have a delay, which usually included a bonus. So I think back in the day, the tooth fairy left dimes under the pillow of the people who lost teeth. And from what I hear from some of my grand darling level kid age stuff, sometimes you get 10 or 20 bucks a tooth. So I'm sitting here going, for that kind of money, I'm going to pull these puppies myself and see what happens when I leave them under my pillow. Oh my gosh. Did you ever do tooth fairy stuff?
Well, I lived with the tooth fairy, so we only got quarters, so
Quarters.
quarters
Okay.
or dollars. The
Quarters or
dollars were
dollars. Okay.
the molars. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe they were
Oh
harder to
my
pull
gosh,
out.
the bigger the tooth, the higher the bill. Oh my goodness, that's funny.
But the tooth fairy also paid us for A's when we were in college, so we liked the tooth fairy.
Yes. Well, I scored big time on report card time, but I don't think I remember much about tooth fairy stuff. But the tooth fairy that was at my house with my kids had memory challenges, apparently.
Yeah, no, my tooth fairy, I actually used to help him. He would make his own. He'd made dentures and things for people, and I would help him. I would watch and as a little kid, help him when he was making things. So, um, yeah, not many people can say that. I know how dentures back in the day were made. Who knows how they do them now, but
Wow. Well, I'm sure everything's by computer or something. Yeah. And the tooth fairy's unionized. That's hysterical.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Well, those are pretty cool national and international days of for sure. National Tooth Fairy Day. That actually is a cute post. That really is, and just it evokes memories. That's
yeah.
the thing that I think is always so cool, because either you had a family that was absolutely not going to do pretend, or you had one that lived in La La Land just because it was fun for the kids to have something to do, and all the different seasons, and then pumpkin patch stuff, and then Halloween. Some people celebrate that, and then everybody gets ready for turkeys and haystacks and Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas and all those things. So it just depends on, I guess, how you grew up. And sometimes that means you're going to do the traditions that your family of origin started, or you ain't never plumb ever doing that again. So it just depends on the impact it had, I guess.
Yes, and we changed a few of the traditions a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, Like
Oh,
I never did Santa Claus. I never liked Santa Claus. I know that Santa is Christmas, but so we would still do the stockings, and we
ah,
always would make it a joke, well, Santa, and we still do. We still sign on the presents, Santa Claus, or the dog. The dog sends lots of gifts to everybody.
wow. A generous dog you have.
Even though she doesn't have any thumbs, it's amazing.
Wow, that's pretty talented right there. I just now thought about this for our Doc and Queenie wheel. We could start adding a pumpkin or a Christmas tree or something like that, and we could talk about traditions for any of those seasons.
Yeah, yeah. It would be great to hear other people's traditions too. So
Absolutely. And please, all of you watching live or certainly on the replay, definitely share what the tooth fairy means to you, or whether or not you do pecan torts, or certainly nut milk of some kind if you're part of that tradition as well, because some people are very milk drinkers, some people are very never milk drinkers, so it just depends. What do you think, Doc? Are you ready for the wheel?
I am ready for the wheel, Queenie.
All right, let's see what happens here, which is always a let's just push the button and cross our fingers and see what. I have had cyber challenges today, and I always think, yeah, let's see what it's going to do and see if it actually is going to let any of this happen. All right. Share screen, Chrome tab, Doc and Queenie wheel. Well, what do you know?
You found it?
It actually showed up. Ta-da!
Yay.
All right. Ready, set, go. Wait till it stops all the way and lights up the fabulous, cool word that we've got going on.
All right, Queenie.
Bingo, bingo, bingo.
Branding.
All right. Now, just as an explanation for our friends watching with us today, the Doc and Queenie wheel started for our second year as Doc and Queenie, as we start our third year, just so that we would have expertise, if you will, of some of the topics we talk about. Doc, I'd like you to take this one, because branding is you. You have gone from It's all about food, Beyond Basic Health, the different titles for some of your companies. And now Kitchen Garden Expert seems to be the stick, if you will, for all the cool things that you're doing now. I really think this would be a great topic for you to ease us into.
Well, I can try and ease. Yeah, I the parent company, my tax company, the company that gets taxed is Beyond Basic Health. I started that when I got my naturopathy degree,
Uh-huh.
and then when I segued into the kitchen garden expert, I kind of flipped everything in some respects. And my branding, you can see Kitchen Garden Expert on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm not on Twitter, Facebook, all of those big platforms. We've talked about the hashtags. I hashtag Kitchen Garden to death, Kitchen Garden Expert to get to death.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I also have other hashtags that tie into the branding of the Kitchen Garden Expert. We talked about branding. I keep Kitchen Garden Expert as the main, but I have other little hashtags like Garden Doc 7. I have a new one with I'm designing websites, so that's WebDoc 7. I'm an ordained minister, that's RevDoc 7, and they all tie back to Kitchen Garden Expert, which ties back to, it's all cross pollinated. That's basically, the branding. As far as I have, of course, I don't think I have my background on here. I was going to say I've got about a year ago, I changed. No, of course, I don't have my brand behind me. It's a good example, but I put my little logo all over the place, and I play with it too. It's still the same fonts. It's a little leaf, but I might tilt the leaf. I might put it in a different place depending on whether it's a post on my videos. It's all over my videos.
I actually saw your KGE and the leaf and one of your new profile pictures, and you put that on one of the posts, I think, when you were teaching your gardenery classes.
Yes.
And that was pretty cool to see as well.
Yeah. So branding and like you have taught, the one example that sticks in my head when you've talked to people about, well, I've got this on YouTube and I've got that on YouTube, and they have 10 different areas, and they have 10 different YouTube channels, and you're like, no, I've got, I don't know how many different segues off of the Kitchen Garden Expert, but it's all underneath Kitchen Garden Expert. People know me as Kitchen Garden Expert. And then it expands from there. Did I miss anything?
One of the things, honestly, in fact, this happened just today. I do a posting party for the one on Mondays actually is for the worldwidechamber.com. And so while I was doing the posting party, I get to facilitate it. One of the attendees, her name's Dr. Laura also, actually, which always cracks me up when I say it. But literally she said, now tell me about this branding that you talk about all the time, and why is all of this so important? So I always teach about Google yourself. So of course this got her attention because she's new to a lot of this social media stuff. And so I said, let's say month, I think that's fair. Every month, Google yourself, or your brand, and or your company, and or your product, and or your what. So I said, go to a Google search and do hashtag posting party and see what comes up. Then I said, do hashtag Kangen Water Kansas City, see what comes up. Then do just a search, Kathy Weaver KC, and see what comes up. She literally raised her hand like a bullet, and she goes, I got to speak. And I said, okay. And she goes, you're everywhere. And I said, well, and she said, all I did is type in hashtag posting party, like you said, and you're all over my screen. And I said, first of all, sorry. But second of all, I think that resonated with her from a standpoint of, how does your branding, social media, hashtagging, keyword, how does all of that blend together? Because she said, here's your alignable page, here's your Twitter feed, here's your Clubhouse ID, here's your this, here's your that, and the posting party pictures and all the pictures that you do, they're everywhere. And I said, well, here's the deal. very seldom, not never, but very seldom will you see me do a post or a comment on anybody's anything without at least tagging the person that did the post. At least. Sometimes I will say, it was great to meet you at the hashtag posting party for the @worldwidechamber.com, or obviously Happy Neighborhood Project. Any of the organizations I'm involved with, I usually tag the organization back once I've knocked on the door of the person who did the post to congratulate them for doing it. And plus it notifies, because then you get a notification, Kathy Weaver commented on your post. You wouldn't see that if you waited till the end of the day to go back to your office and then wonder, now that I'm back at my office, I can start responding to all these things. If we're out all day long doing all this stuff, you don't get back to your office till 7 or 8 at night. No offense, who wants to do all this searching around? If someone has knocked on your door, now you can see quickly the notification that someone has done. So I do think that is the coolest thing in the whole world. That is exactly correct. I'm sure that is Lisa.
Yes. And can you, of course, I've got a black screen because I tried to.
No, that's okay. Yes, we can see your KGE and your leaf. And that's the one.
And that's what we were talking about with.
Yes, the KGE branding. For those of you with us now, in small letters, you can see, does that say by Kitchen Garden Expert underneath it?
No, it just says Kitchen Garden Expert.
I couldn't see the smaller letters, but
that big head in the way.
No. But it's a lovely logo, and the green piece obviously is a double entendre, which I think is super cool also. And so, but anyway, I always teach the knock on the door thing to make sure people get it. And I think knock on the door has resonated with people. I was on another call the other day, Fantastic Business Innovators, and the mortgage gentleman that's in that group said last week when you were training us on the posting party, you talked about knocking on the door. And as a mortgage person, that resonated with him because he works with realtors, knocking on the door all the time. He said, tell me about that again. Well, quite frankly, backlinking would be like above my pay grade kind of thing, from a standpoint of when I do knock on the door, it seems to help them remember, don't forget to knock on the door. And so that is kind of my key that I mentioned. And it really does seem to help, because as soon as I explained it again, he goes, oh, yeah. And then this morning on the other call, I was talking about saving the transcript. Well, that's branding also, because if now you want to teach people all the things that you tell us as far as gardening, if I can't remember all the steps that you said, then at least now I have the transcript. And this is on Zoom. I actually am going to check and see if we can do it on StreamYard. I don't know. But literally, now that it is on Zoom that you can save the entire transcript, you can go back and actually see how someone spoke. Like Doc says, just like when you were talking about, you've got 3 piles of dirt, the super good dirt, the medium dirt, the clay dirt. And now when you build the berm, clay's probably going to be at the bottom. The middle's going to be, the medium dirt's going to be in the middle, and the fabulous is going to be on top as it grows all the grass. I just think all of that is awesome. But if someone missed it, they'd have to wind up this video replay and find what you said back then. On a transcript, it's basically easier to see and certainly to read. So there's so much about branding, Doc, and you have done such an incredible job. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to a Google search and type in hashtag Kitchen Garden Expert, boom, guess what you're going to find. And that's a clue that you've done your SEO correctly. I love that for you.
Well, I've learned from the best, Queenie. So
I think honestly, that's why the wheel is so cool, because you are so great. And I can't wait till it lands on Instagram, because I have so much to learn about reels. We might have to just make it land on Instagram one of these days, because I really mean it. There is so much. What are you up to now? I bet you've set a new record on Instagram, by the way.
I looked the other day. I don't remember. It's dipped a little bit just because, months fluctuate, but I'm still reaching about 2,600 people are engaging.
Oh my gosh.
The likes are down a little bit, but we'll see what happens, because some of my topic or my real matter hasn't been the most exciting.
Well, but think about the piece of lettuce, though. So I wouldn't negate the excitement part. Quite frankly, if amaranth is your hashtag, and I've never heard of that, I probably would hashtag quinoa. I might hashtag rice. I might hashtag seeds, and I might actually hashtag plants. Because if you always remember when you're doing any of your posting that you're talking to my level, then you would get a lot more down to basic instead of you and Lisa's level.
Well, and of course, I just said that, and I just posted about an hour ago, and it's just dirt. It just says still digging, and
What,
and
10 million? You broke the bank.
well, I had 294 people look at it. So that was an hour ago. And then yesterday's I've had 2176 look at the amaranth.
Oh my gosh.
So,
and I don't know how you can say your numbers are down. That to me is overwhelming numbers, because my Instagram gets a few people go, yay. And
well, they're down to about 35,000 instead of 40. It's not,
oh my goodness.
There you go. Gluten-free life. Absolutely. Hashtag.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So,
yeah. And that's why I say if gluten, and I would do hashtag gluten also, and hashtag gluten-free, all of those things completely, because the audience is bigger. And, but like I say, if you always tag or post my level, then that would keep you at the basic stuff. And then you can up your game when you're talking to Lisa level, because I don't know if you know this, Dr. Laura, I am not a gardener by trade yet. And so I do learn from you every time you speak. And I just go, wow.
Thank you, Queenie. I know you're not there yet.
How? Uh-huh.
Just like I have learned so much from you about networking and what we're talking about right now. I do listen occasionally, and I do follow through occasionally.
Well, and let's talk about that for a sec too. With your naturopathy and the other things that you do, honestly, I think it's back to that same drill. When we hear something, does it resonate? When we hear something, do we absorb it? And then are we going to act on it? And, I could train all day, even these posting parties. They're not going to get any impressions, views, engagement if they don't participate, knocking on the door, tagging, hashtagging, all those things. But if they do, in fact, I had quite a testimonial today from another gentleman that was on, and that's when he said, I had on LinkedIn, and now he's been attending for about 6 months, and he said, I can't even, this is like overwhelming. Never thought it would happen. Didn't think it would happen for me. And he said, I can't believe it myself. And then he literally pulled up his screen and showed the impressions that he was getting on some of these posts that he had done. And so it's back to that same thing. Just when you teach us about healthy eating, and then we go drive through that eat stuff through a window thing, we made the choice. So do you want to not feel well or take a nap in the afternoon or whatever that looks like, or do you want to keep your day rolling? And I realized that the wellness of the food definitely does matter. And I think that is a very cool message.
Thank you. Well, and I want to point out something also that you do on a regular basis, and I'm sure I don't know if you're unaware of it, but it's a good habit that people, I've noticed not a lot of people do it. So I talked about the piles of dirt, and you basically told me that you flipped it back and talked about the piles of dirt. Now, how exciting are piles of dirt? Aren't really exciting, but you were paying attention and you verbalized it. So that, to a person that doesn't know you, that would be like, oh, wow, she actually is listening to me, and that's going to engage them in listening to you. It sounds almost kind of, superficial or kind of shallow, but, if people perceive that you're not listening or you're just, yeah, not saying anything, it makes a difference with the networking and the whole piece. I'm sidetracking away from the brand.
Oh, but I think it's a perfect message from that standpoint. Some of the exercises I have done in person, yes, but even on Zoom calls now, once everyone has gone around the room, and we did this in person actually with the no excuses thing, I passed the business card basket around again, and now pick a card. They don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. And that's the infomercial you're going to be doing. And the reason I have found that to be impactful, and I've actually been doing that piece for years when obviously we were doing stuff in person all the time, If it was a whole group of people that knew each other, blah, 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 we don't have to do an infomercial. I know what you do. I have your machine. Thank you. And that's not the point. I want to hear what you said. And now I want to do the infomercial back, because that shows I was listening, but it also shows you finally got what I was saying, or my message is not clear. So if my message is not clear, I need to fix my infomercial. If you got what I was saying and could get it back to the people, then that piece of networking puzzle was a success. So
Exactly.
when you explain things on my level, the 3 piles of dirt thing, then I can go, Now I will say, as soon as you said it, I must admit, I would not know the difference probably, because my topsoil comes in a bag delivered by helper friends. And so I would probably not be able to distinguish clay to this, to that, to topsoil, to something else. And so when I get truckloads of that stuff, it's pulverized or whatever they do, I would not probably know what clay to medium to good would look like. I don't think. Maybe I would. I don't know.
I just might have to do a post so you can see.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And just remember, you would be teaching a complete and total kindergarten beginner person.
Well, I'm glad you paid attention, Queenie. And guess what?
Well, Lisa said yet. So I guess that means she thinks that there's still hope for me.
Yes. We'll
Oh,
get her in the kitchen. We'll get her out in the garden.
yeah. Yet.
Not exactly sure how that's going to work, but we'll try.
Yeah. I think I'm going to be waiting for those chickens you talked about.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Totally. So, well, it looks like it's time. We've already run out of time, which is,
I think it goes faster every week, Doc.
It feels like it. It definitely feels like it. Do you have any asks? Before we go, how's your YouTube channel going?
Well, actually, I'm super excited. I need 29 more to get to 500. And that has grown a lot bigger than I actually anticipated by this point. I do still want to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. And quite frankly, your momentum flies as it gets bigger, bigger, bigger. So I'm hoping that will work. And I've got a few little tricks up my sleeve to see if I can up those numbers. How's your newsletter? I think it's free. Is that right? You're still offering your newsletter?
Newsletter's free. I'm actually getting ready to use LinkedIn and post a newsletter on there.
Okay. I didn't know what your numbers are up to for that, or if it's still free. Okay.
It's still free. Okay. But I'm pushing kind of on the YouTube also, just to at least get my own URL. Last time I checked, I think I'm at 42 or 43 subscribers on YouTube.
Okay.
So not too bad, but would be great to get more. Eventually, when I flip everything over to more interactive / ebooks, YouTube things, that'll be great for those people that have subscribed. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let me do my little thingy here, and we'll have to say goodbye so you can get back to work and I can go dig in the dirt.
Woohoo! I'm jealous.
Yeah. Well, if you're jealous, you can come over. I could use some help.
I'm not that jealous.
Okay. Just check. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining Doc and Queenie Facebook Live today at
Hi, dude.
You can reach Queenie, AKA Kathy Weaver, all over the internet, social media at Kathy Weaver KC. .com and Kathy Weaver KC on all other social platforms. You can reach Doc, aka Laura Christine, at kitchengardenexpert.com and Kitchen Garden Expert all over the place, just like Queenie. So until next week, have a fantastic and blessed week. We will hopefully see you here next week. Thank you, Queenie. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lisa. Have a good one, and we will see you later.
Awesome. Thank you, Doc. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye now.
Bye.